That's a big question this morning. How will Pope Leo XIV lead the church?
Well, let's bring in CBS News Chicago's Vince Girasoli for that. And Vince, before we get into it, we have to ask, you've been in Italy. How did it feel for you, learning the news about the new Pope?
Well, I have to say, knowing that it's an American Pope, there is an energy around it, and it's something that everyone's talking about. Even if you have a chance to read the newspapers, take a look at what these headlines are. Just about all of them say the same thing, and you can understand it even if you don't speak Italian. Il Papa Americano. And here's another one. Basically, the exact same headline over here. So a lot of people are talking about this, and just to be able to be here and to feel the sense of energy that there was when he was announced yesterday. There were 100,000 people crowded into St. Peter's Square behind me, and there was a hush came over the crowd when it was about to be announced who it was, and then his name was announced, and there was this jubilation. But what was a jubilation for? People didn't really know exactly who he was at the time. It was probably because a leader had been chosen for their faith, and they want to embrace their faith and get the courage that their faith gives them, and they were happy that there was a new leader.
Vince, as we talk about his leadership, let's start by recapping this morning's Mass there. What did the Pope say, and how, perhaps, does this set up his papacy?
Well, a papacy is full of firsts, so this Mass this morning with all of the cardinals was his first chance to speak to them during the homily portion of the Mass. That's when the Pope gives a message and speaks to everyone. And when he was giving his message, he did a few things. At one point, he said, "You have called on me to carry the cross," and he found that to be a blessing. So that's just one of the messages he put out there. He also called on the cardinals to come together and to bring unity. And his selection as Pope may have very much to do with the fact that there needs to be more unity in the church. There needs to be some bridge building. And actually, bridge building was a word that Pope Leo used not only out here in the crowd, but this message of bridge building was also with the cardinals this morning. So within the church, building bridges between different factions, but beyond the church, building bridges from different countries.
And Vince, we've been hearing a lot from both of his brothers, one here in Chicago, of course, and they both say that he may be kind of following in Pope Francis's footsteps. What do you know, it's early stages, of course, about their similarities and perhaps how they're different too?
Okay, well, who would know their brother better than their brother? And so they're talking about him, and they must feel fairly confident in saying that they feel that Pope Leo will follow in Francis's footsteps, although it is possible to see there might be some slight differences. For example, while he was bishop in Peru, he did oppose gender studies in schools. He said that students need to be taught the meaning of the gospel. So that could indicate that he feels a little bit different about gender issues than Pope Francis did. But when it comes to the role of women in the church, he worked alongside 3 women quite closely in his role for selecting candidates for bishop in the Roman Catholic Church. He spoke highly of these 3 women who worked almost shoulder to shoulder with him. They weren't just serving under him in a secretarial way, but they were actually advisors. And he spoke very highly of their role, and he said that the office and that the church was a better place because of their input and point of view.
Vince, thank you so much for all of your insight, and I'm sure it really was amazing for you to be there and witness that history that was made yesterday. We appreciate it, and we hope to talk with you again a little later on this morning.
Thanks, Vince.
Okay, we'll see you a little bit later.